A few weeks back during the Senior Bowl, I was scouring practice footage and Cincy wide receiver Alec Pierce caught my eye. His size, paired with his foot quickness and ability to use his hands to keep his frame clean, stood out. At the Combine, he won over even more people by putting up some phenomenal numbers. So I figured now is as good a time as ever to dive into the couple games of film that I have access to. So let's go. So here's a third down play for Alec Pierce. Now he doesn't get the ball on 3rd and 10 here, but watch the nuance to this route as he works up the field and then breaks to the middle of the field. Now he doesn't get the ball, and that's because Hamilton is sitting right in the middle of the field, but watch him off his release as that DB jams him right there. Watch the forearm wipe, boom, uses his hands to keep his frame clean, then works vertically up the field. Now watch the break at the 35-yard line. Sharp break across the middle. Now watch it from the end zone angle. He's a bigger receiver, but he's got some really good feet and some sharp breaks. Watch at the top of this route as he gears down right there and makes that 90-degree cut. So he's throttling down. Watch this footwork. Here's the drive step, break step, and line. I mean, he cuts basically on 90 degrees all the way down that line. And you can see that in the Senior Bowl footage, and you can see it right here from the end zone angle. Just a really sharp cut from a big guy. This kid's impressive. Here he is to the bottom of the screen as the Bearcats drop into a 2x2 set. And he's going to be running a deep curl route. The slot receiver is running a crossing route. And I think that he converts this into a curl route because the Irish drop out into a cover 3 look. So you see all 4 underneath defenders dropping out to their areas. And if it was more of a too high look or too high safety look, I imagine that Pierce is going to be breaking to the post with the middle of the field open. But because he sees them dropping into the cover 3, he curls it up and finds that window. And his breaks are just so sharp. Look at the top of this route. Look at the efficiency in the footwork. His feet stick. He breaks in the opposite direction. Sits in that window for his quarterback. Catches it and then gets some yardage after the catch. Here it is from the end zone angle. The Irish drop a safety back into the post. He converts it into a curl. You see him go ahead and snag the ball and then find some green to get some yardage after the catch. This kid's processing and route running are just phenomenal. And he's doing it against a really good defense. So one area that is going to need to improve with Pierce is his play strength. He's running that in-breaking route again down the field, and the corner is in his hip pocket and leans on him, and the break at the top of the route suffers. Here it is from the end zone angle. Watch as I slow it down. Corner leans on him just a little bit, and you see his knees kind of buckle right there, and the sharpness isn't there, and that corner is able to stay in his hip pocket. So that play strength definitely needs to improve. It's a minor critique, but something that we need to keep an eye on in his film and going forward. Here he is later in the game, same exact route. Again, in-breaking route. Corner has seen it several times in this game, so you'd like to see a little more nuance or variation to the route and setting it up. But the corner, once again, gets into his hip pocket, leans on him just a little bit, and this time he loses his footing. Watch it from the end zone angle. Again, making that break at the top. Corner is already jumping that inside hip. Again, he's seen this route several times. Leans on him just a little bit, and you see Pierce hit the turf because he loses his center of gravity here as the corner is leaning on him at the top of that break. So play strength and a little variation to the route stems on these type of routes that he's running several times a game. You got to switch it up just a little bit and how you get into that break. So a minute left in the first half. Pierce is in the slot right here. You see the defender playing with inside leverage. And Pierce is basically running into the seam here. And he takes an outside release, breaks it inside, and catches the ball. And I'm not sure how he's taught, but this is a lot of work to gain entry into the seam against this defender. I would have preferred for him to make the defender think he's going outside and then get up into the seam so that it doesn't take as long. But either way, he takes outside leverage and outside release versus this defender. And the quarterback has time, so he's able to get it to him. And I love the catch with his hands. Rotates his body so that when he catches the ball, he's in a position to make the first defender miss. He sees the corner coming from the boundary. He breaks back to the boundary for a couple more yards. So this is a good angle to see the leverage that number 27 is playing with. Obvious inside leverage. He wants to take speed off of that route. He wants to make Pierce work outside and around him. He does a good job of doing that. Quarterback has time, and then here's a delivery over the middle. Hands catch, and then the immediate cutback by Pierce as soon as he catches it. So good awareness of where that corner is coming from and getting back upfield outside the numbers. The Irish are in man coverage, and you can see that just based on the alignment and how they motion him into the formation. And this is interesting because you're going to see Pierce to the top. Knowing that it's man coverage, he kind of runs this guy off. That corner is in man coverage, so he runs and releases out wide and occupies him and then gets into his block so that the running back can get a few extra yards along the edge. Here's an explosive play by Pierce at the top of the screen. Simple go route as the Irish drop out into a single high look. And this is bad technique at the line of scrimmage by the corner. You see him playing with outside leverage. And on the snap, watch his hips. You see him turn his hips inside. And with this single high look, you want to keep outside leverage. Want to funnel that receiver inside. But Pierce is able to gain access out wide and really sets up this play down the field. The corner tries punching out to disrupt Pierce's release out wide so that he can get his hips in position and to get back in phase, but he's not able to because of the quickness in that release out wide by Pierce. So Pierce gets free access up the sideline and then brings in the pass in traffic for the big play down the field. Nice work by the quarterback, Desmond Ridder, here too. Watch him take the snap. There goes the safety to the post. And watch Ridder hold this safety there. Looks right at him, holds him, and then throws a ball down the field, puts some air on it, and it's Pierce who is able to elevate, catch the ball with his hands, and avoid the big hit from the safety in the corner for an explosive play down the field. Just great work by the quarterback and wide receiver to start the half. So the Bearcats asked him to run a lot of curl routes over the middle, crossing routes over the middle on those 3-level passing concepts. And you see that here. And when he hits that zone, he knows that a big hit is coming. But he looks the ball in. You see him look the ball in, and it's delivered a little high. He looks it in, and then braces for contact from that linebacker. So he's not afraid to go over the middle, but he focuses first on catching the ball, then bracing for contact. Another play where the Irish are playing a single high look. Look at the leverage by the corner again. Slight outside leverage here. Now watch the release by Pierce because he wins this route early in the route. So comes to a stagger right here, and now the corner has no idea if he's going to release inside or release outside. Well, that suddenness is shown right there as he releases out wide. And again, watch the corner open his hips in the slightest way right here, right there. Now he's going to have to work to transition and open back out wide here. So Pierce has the upper hand right here. And so the corner shoots his hand in order to help himself and slow down Pierce on that release. Well, Pierce is ready for that disruption with the outside hand of the corner. Look at him just control that forearm. And that gives him access up the sideline. That allows him to release outside and then accelerate up the sideline and stack that corner for the big play down the field. Another good play by Ridder, holding that safety in the post, finding the matchup down the field. Pierce has that corner stacked, soft hands, and extra yardage after the catch. So Pierce is at the top of the screen. He doesn't get the ball on this play, but the quickness and deception in his releases are just phenomenal. You see him stab outside, then get back inside and get vertical and get on top of that corner. And watch it as I slow it down. So you see the stab outside and how much that corner respects it. Look at him open his hips just the slightest right there, and then realizes that Pierce is going back inside, so now he has to transition, and he does a good job of transitioning. But Pierce is so quick. Once he gets back inside, he's able to get a nice free release up the field, and he's able to stack that corner. So just stuff that you really can't teach. That type of quickness out of the gate, that ability to get that inside release and to not get disrupted down the field, that is going to win a lot of routes at the next level. Pierce is one-on-one with the corner to the top of the screen. No help. And he just toasts this corner thanks to that release and that quickness. So here it is again. You see him come out of the gates, come to a stagger. The corner doesn't know if he's going to release out wide or inside. I mean, right here, it looks like he's planting off that left foot to go release out wide. But you see him also drag that foot, take some speed off of that horizontal release right there to make it look like he is going to be releasing out wide. So he takes some drag and speed off of that, and he's able to plant, but at the same time, make that sharp cut and then accelerate to the middle of the field and separate from that corner. Unfortunately, the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage, but this is a touchdown, and it would have been thanks to Pierce's quickness and suddenness in that release phase at the line of scrimmage, getting that corner to believe that he's going to release outside, but then breaking back to the middle of the field for what would have been a touchdown. So here's a short reception by Pierce, top of the screen. Just a short out pattern here against the corner, and he snaps it off right at around the 30-yard line. And I just like how, as the corner is getting into his bail technique, he's maintaining that outside leverage. You see Pierce attack that leverage on an angle, so he is basically closing that cushion horizontally towards the boundary here, and then once he gets to the 30, he's able to sharply cut right there to the sideline. So I like how we attack the leverage of the corner. The corner obviously has outside leverage and has the upper hand here, so he just goes at him, forces him to widen a little more, and then snaps it off at the top of the route. So the Bearcats have Pierce at the bottom of the screen in a 3-by-1 set. It's the formation that they love to isolate Pierce versus a corner, and if they got a single high look, they were taking that shot to Pierce here. But this is the sign of respect that Nick Saban sent in Pierce's direction. So on the snap, you see the defense rotate. They rotate into a 2-high look, and they drop out 2 defenders underneath. So these guys are all covered, and they rotate another defender to help out in the short area versus Pierce. They have the corner in man-to-man, and then, of course, if they want to go deep, they have some help over the top from that safety. And Ritter tries hitting Pierce on the back shoulder, but it goes incomplete. But you can see that Saban had a lot of respect for Pierce. He did not want this talented receiver to beat them, and they gave the corner help in the short area and deep pre to post snap. Here's another play where Pierce doesn't get the ball, but watch the release by him on this play and how he's able to get the corner on his heels so that he can get a nice free release inside. Stabs outside again, and then the smooth, sudden cut back inside and then vertical to the middle of the field. That is just so quick and difficult to defend at or near the line of scrimmage. Again, this is how he's going to win at the next level. So here's a 3rd down play with Pierce on the backside of this 3-by-1 formation. Corner is in press man coverage. And this is just another play that shows the respect that Saban had for Pierce in this game. On the snap, what happens? The edge player drops out right here to help out on the backside of this 3-by-1 formation. Another play where Saban showed the respect to the Bearcats receiver. Another 3-by-1 set with Pierce on the backside. Another play where Saban makes sure that Pierce isn't the one that beats him. You can see the safety helping out right there. It's a 2-on-1. There's no way that Pierce is getting the ball. This footage and treatment by Nick Saban to Alec Pierce in the Cotton Bowl is a perfect way to wrap up this film breakdown. You could tell that Pierce was the guy, that opposing defenses wanted to shut down, wanted to eliminate, because of how talented he is in the release phase and at the break point. He's the type of receiver that can win early, so you have to get physical with him at the line of scrimmage and through the drive phase. If you don't land a punch accurately at the line of scrimmage, he will get vertical in a hurry, and your corners will not be able to catch up and get back in phase. So you have to get physical with him at the line of scrimmage and throughout the drive phase. And while I think he needs to improve his play strength, I still believe he could be a very solid X wide receiver at the next level. And I think he would be a great prospect for the Bills offense. He could take over Gabriel Davis's role, a guy that is bigger but can stretch the field vertically, but also has some route running chops to him. And I think Chad Hall, the receivers coach, would really like to work with a guy like this, because he is a receiver that can win early in the route at the line of scrimmage during that release phase, but also at the break point. There's a lot to work with Alec Pierce, and I think the Bills would love to get a guy with his football intelligence and skill set on their roster and in their offense.